Welcome to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wilding in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gonna be our year. We're here drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring. Yeah. Check it out.
What's up, Kings fans? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds, a Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans, by fans. Kings win tonight. I'm still in quarantine, so hey, we are live via Twitter Spaces. Want to give a shout out to everybody here in the chat. Charles, Sass, Tito, Greg, Mike is here. Callum, Faquan, Pika House, Jim, Jose, David, Ian. Holy shit, we got a lot of people. Alfie Man, Lane, Jeff the Lefty. Good to see you all. Gotham is here, Bouncer is here, and everybody else in the chat. Kings win tonight. Wow. Calvin, welcome in. How are you?
Barry, I know that we are, supposed to talk and give our opinions and all that stuff when we come on and do this show. I'm at a loss for words. I really am. That was one of the craziest games I have ever seen in my entire life. I know you guys can't see my face right now, but I hope you can hear this because I'm cracking a beer. That was insane. It was just absolutely insane.
Light the beam!
It was. What an incredible performance by the Sacramento Kings. They win 176, 175 in double overtime. Calvin, let's light the effing beam, dude. I'm ready. Let's light the beam.
Light it.
What a night of Kings basketball. Kings get the win. This is, like you said, one of the most incredible games that I have ever seen, and the second highest scoring game in NBA history, the highest scoring output for the Sacramento Kings in their history. First time they've ever had two guys score 40-plus points in a game. You have a career high from Malik Monk. An absolutely incredible game. But welcome into Royal Rebounds, the Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans, by fans. Welcome in, everybody. Please don't forget to smash up that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We are live after every single post game. Normally, we're in the studio, but I am still in quarantine. So like I said, we are live via Twitter Spaces. We appreciate everybody for joining in. Like Phoenix says, what the hell did I just watch? Calvin, give me your first thoughts on the game because this was... I'm shaking, dude. I am absolutely shaking. It was incredible.
Yeah, the amount of mood swings and just how spiked your blood pressure got and dipped all over the place. The emotional runs of this game were just absolutely ridiculous. After the first quarter ended, I actually felt like even though it was off to a fast-paced start and going to be a high-scoring game, it looked like that the Kings were going to be in this game. I thought it would come down to the final couple of minutes of the game, and it looked like it was going to be a very, very good game to watch. Little did I know it was going to be maybe one of the greatest games ever in NBA history to watch at that moment. And then at halftime, we're in the group chat with Lane and Mike, and I said first team to 150 wins. I didn't really mean that, but actually it was first team to 176 wins. So many big plays made in this game. There's so much to talk about. I can't even wrap my brain around what to say first. The fact that Malik Monk outscored Kawhi Leonard in this game when I didn't think Kawhi Leonard was ever going to miss another shot for the rest of his life. It's just unfathomable to me that that this game played out the way it did, and the fact that the Kings pulled it out. I mean, if they end up with a home court first round playoff matchup once the playoffs start, you can absolutely go back to this game and say that it was the catalyst to push them through for the rest of the season. I hope they still have legs left for Sunday's game, but holy crap, that was just wild.
Yeah, it was. And not to mention, Calvin, this is the second night on a back-to-back for the Sacramento Kings after a little layoff from All-Star Weekend. But two big wins for the Sacramento Kings. And Calvin, this is a couple stats that I was posting in the group chat. Clippers are shooting 65% on threes on 37 shots in this game. Just to think that the Kings could remain in this game was incredible. Kawhi Leonard had 40 on 16 shots. This is before the game even went into overtime, right? And we talk about how this Clippers team is one of the deepest teams in the NBA. So the fact that the Kings were able to stick with them and continue pace. I mean, we'll talk about the defense later. You know, Nick's going to be disappointed in this game in the terms of like there was absolutely zero defense played. But just an incredible performance. Like I said, I'm still shaking. My heart is still pumping. Hopefully, you guys all had a great time watching the game because it was absolutely incredible. The best game of the year, in my opinion. And I think I'm probably going to watch ESPN all day tomorrow, Calvin, because we should be, that's all they should be talking about is this game. And you know what I'm excited about? Next Friday's game, Calvin, because guess what? We play this Clippers team again.
Yeah, and man, that game is going to be incredibly exciting. They should put that game on national TV right now. Like right now, they should put that game on national TV.
Hey, maybe they will. We've seen stranger things happen. Shout out to everybody here in the chat. Everyone sounds happy. They sound excited. Just happy to see you all here. Don't forget to smash up that like button. Calvin, I'm going to dive here into the box score. So as I mentioned, Kings win tonight 176-175. Domas Sabonis plays 31 minutes in this game. He does foul out. He had 4 fouls at halftime, fouls out, I believe, in the fourth quarter of this game. 20 points for him, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Harrison Barnes, 40 minutes of action, only 1 of 6 from the field, did hit a couple clutch free throws late in the game. 11 points for him, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Keegan Murray, 42 minutes, 7 of 12 from the field, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And De'Aaron Fox, 45 minutes of action, 17 of 27 of the field, 42 points, 5 rebounds, and 12 assists. Only 22 minutes tonight for Kevin Huerter. We'll definitely talk about that, but 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 7 from three-point range, 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. As far as the bench is concerned, 10 points for Trey Lyles in 19 minutes. He played a lot of overtime with Sabonis being out. Chemezi Metu also played a lot of overtime, 21 minutes for him tonight, 8 points and 9 rebounds, 8 points for Davion, 6 for Terrence Davis. And then Calvin, obviously, the game ball tonight and the chain, even though there was no defense played, should all go to Malik Monk. 40 minutes of action for him. He led all scores, 45 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 15 to 24 from the field, 6 of 12 from three-point range, Calvin. And this guy didn't even look gassed in overtime. It was absolutely incredible, the performance by Malik Monk tonight. And Calvin, that just begs me to ask you, should Malik Monk be starting on this roster, Cal?
Well, I mean, I think if you base it off of this game, yes, but if you base it off of how he's performed for the entire season, I look, I really think that having the bench be able to play at this level is only a good thing for Sacramento. You can still play starters minutes. Mike Brown has done this all season long where he's rode with the hot hand or whoever has played the best, really at every position other than center and point guard for the entire season. So just because you come off the bench doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to impact the game late in the game when it's really close, like we've seen time and time again. Terrence Davis has been in that spot, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, the list goes on and on. So I'm not going to sit here and say that just because of this game, Malik Monk should be starting. I think it's totally okay to have, you look at all the good teams in the NBA, they've got good starting lineups, but they also have very solid bench units that they can heavily rely on. The Clippers are definitely one of those teams. I mean, they just come in with waves and waves and waves of shooters and good players, whether they're a starter or not. Bones Highland didn't even play in this game. I just
Wild.
that is so crazy to me. That just shows you how deep the Clippers are as a team. So Monk had a phenomenal game. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I also think that it's very valuable to have the bench that's playing really, really well right now continue to stay in that continuity group that they've got going.
Yeah, I agree with you, Calvin. And shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. I'm seeing all the love here in the chat. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm still in quarantine, so I'm not in the studio, which is why we have no video. But I told you, I promised you that we would be live after every single Kings game. So we are live via Twitter Spaces, broadcasting on Twitter and broadcasting on YouTube. Hopefully, we should be back in the studio on Sunday. But I appreciate you all so much. Thank you guys for all your support. Calvin, as far as the team stats go tonight, these stats are unreal, dude. Like you could not compare this to any games this year. 111 shot attempts for the Kings tonight, 98 shot attempts for the Clippers. The Kings shot 58.6% from the field, as opposed to 60% for the Clippers. 43.9% from three-point range for the Sacramento Kings tonight on 41 attempts, and 57.8, almost 58% from three-point range for the Clippers on 45 attempts. And they lose this game. 86% from the free throw line for the Clippers, 80% from the line for the Sacramento Kings. Kings do out-rebound the Clippers tonight, but only by one, 43-42. The assist numbers, 33. That might be a season high for the Sacramento Kings, and 39 assists tonight for the Clippers. 18 steals, Calvin. I'm going to repeat that because that was a very, very important number in this game. 18 steals for the Sacramento Kings as opposed to only 8 for the Clippers. There was, Calvin, maybe 4 or 5 times in this game where I was like, oh, it's over. Kings got down by double digits. And then what? They got like 4 steals in a row at the end of regulation to cut the lead. It was absolutely incredible. 3 blocks each for each team tonight. 25 turnovers, Calvin. I don't think I've ever seen a team have 25 turnovers in a game and still be in it. 25 turnovers tonight for the Clippers, 15 for the Sacramento Kings. Not a number that really you want to see on the stat sheet, but hey, I'm happy with the win here. 41 fast break points for the Kings tonight as opposed to only 17 for the Clippers, and 88, I repeat that, 88 points in the paint for the Sacramento Kings as opposed to 48 for the Clippers. Largest lead tonight for the Clips were 14, as opposed to largest lead was 6 for the Sacramento Kings. This was an incredible, incredible game to watch. Calvin, anything here else that really stood out to you in the team stats?
Well, the thing that jumps off the page to me is the points in the paint. I mean, that was the reason why the Kings were in this game early on when the Clippers couldn't miss from 3. The Kings shot it really well from 3 overall. For an average NBA game, this is a really good shooting performance, even from 3. But the Clippers were just on another level. It was like they were machines, literally. I mean, I know we joke sometimes about Kawhi Leonard being a machine. That's what he looked like tonight. But all of them, they couldn't miss as a team. I don't know if I've ever seen that many players on one team shoot that well in a game before. It was just unreal. And a lot of those shots were even contested. Yes, there were a bunch of open ones, but the way the Kings stayed in it was points in the paint, just dominating inside, getting inside over and over and over again, whether it was Fox or Monk, or dumping the ball off to Sabonis. I mean, Monk had probably 3 straight possessions where he was able to break down his defender and dish it to Sabonis for an easy bucket inside. The patience that the Kings played with offensively tonight, I thought was just absolutely amazing, because when a team is shooting as well as the Clippers do, it can be really easy to kind of speed yourself up on offense and say, man, we really have to take advantage and score in bunches. But the fact that the Kings still were able to be patient with the ball, look to get good shots, and find guys inside for easy shots to make up for the fact that they weren't hitting quite as many threes. And then the big steals down the end, time and time again, just making big run after big run late there in the fourth quarter. In the first overtime, it was it was just an amazing game, an amazing game.
Yes, it was. Just to rewind a little bit, no KZ Okpala for the Kings tonight, no Zubats tonight for the Clippers. We did see Russell Westbrook join the team tonight. He did start for the Clippers, his very first game, and the crowd was loving him tonight. He did foul out. He was the only other player that fouled out outside of Sabonis in this game. But the crowd was loving him, which was interesting because this same LA crowd was booing him just a few weeks ago when he had a Lakers uniform on. 23 games left in the season. We'll definitely talk about that. But Calvin, you want to go over what your keys to the game were here because this is pretty funny.
Yeah, well, you can pretty much throw these out the window for this game in particular. But number one was this is a strength versus strength matchup, right? It's one of the best defensive teams in the NBA versus one of the best, if not the best, offensive team in the NBA, and it just turned into, whichever team couldn't make a shot first, I guess, to win this one. I was really curious to see how the Kings would perform against this long, active hands defense. That again, the Clippers have a bunch of different players that they throw out there. They could mix up the defense, play zone, play man, and they make it very, very difficult for teams. But the Kings, time and time again, regrouped and found new ways to attack and to score. Number two was bench points. Both benches were enormous in this game. The Clippers are the third highest scoring bench team in the NBA. That might even go up by the time the season ends because of the new additions that they just made before the trade deadline. And then number three was guard the 3-point line. It probably should have been number one tonight. I'm not really sure if the Clippers could have been blindfolded and they still would have made some of these shots. So I don't know how much guarding the 3-point line would have even really mattered in this game. But man, it was just incredibly entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it seemed like everything was going in for a point. I sent out a tweet. Did they make the rims bigger? I don't know what's going on. The Clippers were making absolutely everything in this game. And somehow the Kings, found a way to stay in it. I love that dunk by Keegan Murray where he goes full court and dunks that thing. That was exciting. I love the dunks by Malik Monk. I think that dude's what, 6'3", and he had 3 or 4 dunks tonight. Absolutely incredible performance by him. Dude, Calvin, I'm just so happy, dude. I wish we had video on for this one because I am so ecstatic. It's hard to remain sitting down here. Just an incredible game for the Sacramento Kings. This was playoff basketball. If you want to prepare for the playoffs, this is the best way to do it. And I think this Kings team, yes, it's only one game, and we try not to get too low when they lose and too high when they win. But Calvin, I am absolutely high right now. Like Christian says, I could watch this game 10 times over. It was exciting. It was fun. I'm Calvin, if you were not a Kings believer before, this game has got to make you a believer in this Sacramento Kings team because not only did they play well, the Clippers played exceptionally well. And like I said, this is one of the deepest teams in the NBA. This is a team with a lot of superstars on it, a team with a lot of playoff experience, some championship experience. Kawhi Leonard was having an incredible game. And somehow, despite all that, the Kings were able to get the victory tonight. So huge win for them. We got a couple people here on stage. I know Nick wants to come up. I think Bryce was here, wants to come up on stage as well. Calvin, anything else you wanted to mention real quick before I bring Nick up?
Well, I did want to talk. You were talking about that Malik Monk's dunks in general. Uh, he had one of the greatest dunks I've ever seen in a live game before. That full court running full speed. For those of you who've never dunked a basketball, I can't tell you how difficult that play was to come down the court at full speed and be able to take off of 2 feet with one defender basically on your back while you're elevating, taking away that. What that does is it takes away some of your explosiveness from your jump. The fact that he was able to dunk that off of 2 feet still while moving full speed, his body was behind the backboard when he actually dunked the ball. It was incredible to watch. He had absolutely the game of the year for him. There's no secret about that. But that play was just phenomenal to me.
It really was. I don't even know how he dunked that ball. Like that was absolutely incredible, dude. Uh, you know how hard it is to dunk, Calvin, and I don't even know how he got up to dunk that. So that was absolutely incredible. Anything else you want to mention before we start taking guests here on the stage?
Who are those guys?
Sorry, guys, I'm having some trouble here. No, enough from me. Let's hear from everybody else.
All right, Nick. What is up, Nick? How are you,
What's
man?
up? How are you doing today?
Were you at the game tonight, Slamson?
Yeah, light the beam tonight. Why not light the beam?
Why not light the beam? No defense tonight, like you suggested
Yeah,
last night.
but they did well, and they stayed in the game against the Clippers. That was a crazy game.
It really was. Nick, how many pieces of pizza did you eat today?
I don't know. I probably had about 5 pieces of pizza.
All right, dude. We're on a good streak, man. I think the Kings are undefeated when you eat pizza. Who was your player of the game tonight, Nick?
Player of the game was, I think it was Keegan Murray. Or I think it was Malik Monk.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer. Malik Monk played incredible, right? 45 points. That's a new career high for him.
Yes.
What was he doing out there that was different?
Well, he was staying in the game, playing defense.
Defense, playing some offense, making
Yeah.
shots. He to me looked like one of the only guys that had energy left in this game in the double overtime.
Yes.
De'Aaron Fox looked a little tired. Don't get me wrong, Fox played an incredible game. I'm extremely happy with De'Aaron Fox, but he did look a little tired. He did look a little sluggish there towards the end. And Malik Monk did not look tired. He looked like he was ready to go.
Yeah.
So I was excited to have him there. Anything else that really stuck out to you in this game, Nick?
Well, I just know, I've never seen 175 points. Just 74. It was crazy. That was a crazy game tonight. That was like, oh my gosh.
This is the second highest scoring game in NBA history.
Yes.
Isn't that
And I think
incredible?
this is going to be the game of the year.
I think it is the game of the year. And guess what?
What?
We play the Clippers next Friday.
Yeah. Why not play? I don't know. I mean, can they do the same thing? Can they do the second overtime again? I would.
Let's hope that they can beat them in regulation on Friday. We need to give some of these Kings players a
Yes.
rest after playing back-to-back games. But what an incredible, incredible performance. Nick, are you going to rewatch this game?
I might have to.
Might have to. Might have to. Well, Nick, did you get your Light the Beam shirt yet?
I have to check in the mail tonight. I'll check it in the mail tonight. I'll check it in the mail.
Check the mail. Let me know. To everybody else that's out there, make sure you check out RoyalRebounds.com. We got an awesome Light the Beam shirt. Nick, send me a picture with your shirt, dude. I'd love to. I'd love to see
I
it.
will. Fire the laser.
Fire the laser. All right, Nick. Appreciate you so much. We're gonna go on over to Fred. Fred, I enjoyed your song you posted on Twitter.
Sleep beams.
Do you want me to sing
Sleep
it for you?
beams.
Can you
Royal
hear us? Yeah.
rebounds.
Yo, Nick. Good
Sweet
lad, mate.
beams. Have a good night.
Sleep beams, Calvin.
Sleep beams, buddy.
Light the beam.
Give me your thoughts on the game tonight.
Hey, me? Yeah. How are you guys anyway? You good?
We're doing phenomenal. We are doing
Mate,
phenomenal.
Couldn't be
I
better
am
after
on
that, man.
top of the world. Wow. That's just like, oh, just wow.
Right? What time is it where you live right now?
What is the time now? Let me just have a quick look. 7 o'clock in the morning. It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
And you probably can't even sleep, huh? You're just jazzed up after this game.
Yeah, I've had a bottle of wine. Well, I'm just going to finish my bottle of wine now. So come on, done me gig, Matt. Come on. The second quarter, I started watching it, and That was just something else, that game, wasn't it? Just something else. That ref was a knobbo, wasn't he? He was an absolute tit.
Not the best officiated game of the year, but hey, this was the game of the year, and I'm happy with the outcome. It was exciting. I'm going to rewatch the game afterwards. After this stream is over, I'm rewatching the game.
Hang on, 2 seconds. Dogs, behave yourself. Behave yourself, dogs. It's not playtime, yeah? It's not playtime. Behave. We're a little bit hyper. Because I've been
No
hyper,
worries.
they're now hyper, ain't we, you know?
So give me your thoughts on the game tonight, Fred.
It was just great. We weren't going to lose that game. I had full faith that we were going to win that game. I don't know. There was just something about it. It's just something about that game. We're just clutch, aren't we? We are just so good in the clutch. When it matters, we just always come up trumps. We've got so much heart in that team.
Yeah, it was incredible, right? There was multiple times in this game where the Kings got down double digits, and I'm like, oh, this is not really looking good for them. Maybe it's over. And then, of course, they get a bunch of
It
turnovers,
was,
they get a bunch of stops, they make
but it was,
shots. Like, Malik Monk
but it
was
was the
all over the place.
stage. It was the stage for Malik Monk to step up. He loves being the centre of attention, doesn't he? And a game like that, if he can take over the game, he does it, and he does it with so much charisma and style. You know, he stuck it to him. He really did stick it to him.
Light the beam, says Young Zel.
Yeah, I like the beam completely. Completely. Oh, it's just I don't know. I'm gonna struggle to sleep after that. It was just brilliant. So good. So good. But for me, it was also a statement win. You know, the Clippers are hot on our heels, Phoenix are hot on our heels. There's 2 or 3 other teams, you know, that want our position in the not in the division, in the division as well, but also in the conference. And that for me states that, you know what, we actually mean business. We're not just here to make up the numbers. You know, all these other teams went out and they bought, you know, they didn't buy them, but they traded for all these star names that are they really star names now? You know, they used to be star names, but you know, Westbrook, he was a star name at one stage, but he's not Westbrook of like 4 or 5 years ago. You know, Monty, you know, he held firm. He stuck with his guys, and you know, we didn't have to go and trade for anyone, did we? At the end of the day, we really didn't, because we've got all stars in our team. We've got great role players in our team. We've got a solid bench. So, yeah, we're going to the playoffs, boys. We're going to the playoffs, and God forbid anyone who comes to Sacramento to play us at home, because we will smack the fuck out of them.
I love to hear that, Fred. I love to hear it. You're pouring me a glass of hopium, and I'm drinking all of it, man. I am excited for the playoffs.
What did I say the other time? I think I was on a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you know what, we could actually possibly go on a run in the playoffs and maybe do something special. And tonight proves that, you know what, when that big moment pops up, that big moment arises, we're game for it. You know, we want it. We want it. You know, we really want to. You know,
yeah,
we
exactly.
and so the All-Star game, I really thought that Sabonis and Fox were massively disrespected in that All-Star game. You know, they were picked pretty much second from last, third from last. They didn't really get many touches on the ball in that All-Star game. I think they've come out of that game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, which is great.
Yeah, and I think Katie hit it right on the head during one of the games when she was talking about how, you know, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, like the All-Star game is not really what they do. They're not super flashy players. They just want to get wins, right? That's the most
Yeah,
important thing for them. Like we heard Malik Monk's post-game interview, and he's like, I'm just excited to get to the playoffs. He's like, I've never been to the playoffs. De'Aaron Fox has never been to the playoffs. Like, this team just wants to win so bad. That's the most important thing for them. They're playing together. They have a bunch of chemistry. Yeah, the Clippers, they added a bunch of talent, right? We saw Eric Gordon out there tonight. We saw Russell Westbrook. We didn't see Bones Highland. We saw Plumlee. But, you know, this team's still working on their chemistry. The Kings,
exactly
this
that.
roster is intact, dude. They're set. I'm hearing news about KZ Okpala is getting waived, and he's undergoing knee surgery, and he's out for the rest of the year. But other than that, this Kings team is set. They all know each other. And I think that one thing that Calvin and I both hit on when we were talking about it during the offseason was this Kings team brought in a lot of players that have had chemistry in the past, right? Guys that have played together in the past. So I love to see it, and you're right. I think they're going to go on a good little run here and make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, they got passion, they've got heart, haven't they? And passion and heart, it gets you places, especially in sports. It really does. I think we're going to go far in the playoffs. I do think we're gonna upset a few teams. But again, another thing that annoys me as well is the TV coverage. TNT, NBA, whatever it is in America, like the TV station, they keep snubbing the Kings, and they could have had one of the greatest NBA games of the modern times broadcast live tonight. And nah, they don't want it. They don't want it, do they?
A lot of people are going to be talking about this game tonight, Fred. This was the late game. It was against the Clippers, a big market team. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's been disappointing that the snubs as far as national televised games. But we whooped the Nets on national television this year. And just having a game like this, people are going to start talking about the Sacramento Kings. Calvin's hoping that they flex next Friday's game onto national TV. And I agree 100% with him.
Yeah, I hope so as well. But the thing is, it's just like God's luck that if it'll come onto TV and it'll be a complete flop of the game. It won't be anything like tonight's game. But yeah, still recognition would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, but again, things like this, it's just going to put a chip on the players' shoulders. They just want to go out there and they'll just want to prove to the whole of the NBA community that, do you know what? You should be watching us. You should be watching the King. You should be watching us.
Fred, are you on the YouTube chat right now?
I'm not. I've got you on my TV, but I can't see the chat on there.
You gotta take a look, man. It is great. I love seeing all these Kings fans. A lot of these guys that are here in the chat after every single game, and they're so excited. They're so happy.
Well,
Somebody said they shed a
They
tear.
should be excited. They should be excited because do you know what? We've gone through a lot of shit. We've gone through a lot of pain, and games like tonight are like the ultimate reward for our patience, and that's what it is. So do you know what? Jump in there, swim in it, and just savor moments like tonight because they were it's just fucking fantastic, isn't it? Just fantastic.
Oh yeah, it is. And like I said, I'm gonna rewatch this game. Calvin, are you still there? Did you die from a heart attack, or are you still alive?
I am still alive. If I had died from a heart attack, it probably would have been at the end of the fourth quarter or in the first overtime. So I'm still going.
I'm going to jump in the chat. Give me a sec. on the YouTube. So yeah, fucking
We always appreciate you calling into the show. We should be back in the studio on Sunday. Hopefully we'll see you then, and hopefully we'll be celebrating another Kings victory.
We're going to celebrate a Kings victory, definitely. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you get on, yeah? But thanks for having me.
Thank you, Fred.
As always. Anytime.
And yeah, hopefully you can get some sleep tonight or today or whatever. You just stay up all night, all day, huh? Too much excitement.
Pretty at free, boys. Pretty at free. Ipswich at free. So, yeah, quick sleep and back on that. Anyway, boys, I'll keep listening. Shout out to all the Kings fans on here. Love you all. God bless.
Fred, thank you so much.
Ciao.
Thank you, Fred.
Oh, man.
See you later, dude.
Calvin, what a game, dude. My blood pressure is still up there. My heart is still pounding. It's racing. I mean, you were quiet there for a little bit, so I want to give you the mic a little bit, but just give me your thoughts, man. My mind is racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us are in the same boat here, really. I must have said that the game was over probably 5 times, at least that I can count, just off the top of my head. And every time I said that, the Kings made just an incredible series of plays. They made big stops, got turnovers when I didn't think there was any way that they were going to be able to do that, given how well the Clippers were playing offensively and how well they were shooting. I mean, they were just picking apart the zone when the Kings tried to go to the zone defense just to give them a different look, because sometimes when you're shooting that well, you just have to give them some sort of different look, even if it's traditionally a worse defense to play against a good three-point shooting team. But sometimes that'll throw teams off a little bit. It did not work in that instance for the Clippers. And again, just give the Kings credit. I mean, we talked about after last night's win that at this point in the season, you're not making any dramatic changes to the way you play or the type of team that you are. We know who the Kings are. They're not a great defensive team, although they play good defense in big time clutch moments in close games in the fourth quarter. They've done that all season long. They have one of the best defensive ratings of any team in the fourth quarter this season. They're going to play fantastic offensively. They're going to give you a whole bunch of different looks. And they're going to be in a lot of games, even though they allow teams to score a lot of points because of that fact, because of how good they are. And they're also a very resilient team. There were a few times tonight where I felt like they missed a couple of big free throws, and I was thinking that might have been the swing, a big enough swing of the pendulum that they weren't going to be able to overcome that. But then you come down and you hit a couple of big threes. You make some really key steals. The fact that they went to the blitz double team there at the end ended up being a huge, huge thing for this team, right? Because, again, it was a different look. It forced Kawhi and Paul George to pass the ball. And even though the Clippers actually had the ball in good positions in those moments because they were able to get it into the middle of the floor or then kick it to the corner, the recovery and that Fox steal on Plumlee at the end there was just such a huge, huge big time play. And man, they just had enough legs there to finish it off, right? I mean, they're a young team. They should be tired, but I tell you this, that flight to Oklahoma City feels a lot better, and you're going to wake up feeling a lot less tired having won this game as opposed to if they had lost it.
I love the salty Clippers fans in the chat. Calvin, I got a question for you. If the Kings suck, what does that make the Clippers?
Well, if the Kings suck, I mean, they've been in first place in the division for like 6 weeks now. So I guess the whole division is the worst division in the NBA.
Oh man, that's absolutely hilarious, man. I love Clippers fans. Hey, either way, if you're a Clippers fan, if you're a Kings fan, this was an incredible game to watch. One of the most exciting games of the season. In my opinion, the best game of the year. And we're gonna be talking about it for a while. It's in the history books, right? Second highest scoring game of all time. It's gonna be all over ESPN tonight. It's gonna be all over ESPN tomorrow. This was a statement game for the Sacramento Kings. Not like they're winning the championship or anything. I'm not saying that, but the Kings are here, and they're here to do something, Calvin. So I am stoked. I am so happy. And like you were saying, right, the Clippers were playing exceptionally well. Kawhi Leonard, uh, the dude has looked like a shell of himself over the past year or so. He looked like he's the real deal tonight. Was playing incredibly well. I think he had like 40 points on like 14 of 16 or 14 of 18 for 1 point in this game. And the Kings were able to overcome that and come up with the victory. So, dude, good game. The Kings better enjoy this. All you Kings fans out there, enjoy this game. It was really one for the books. And like Ivan says here, Clippers fans, do you even have your own arena? I think that's also a really good point. Calvin, you giving the chain to Malik Monk tonight?
I'm giving the chain to De'Aaron Fox. I mean, two big stops on Paul George, who was also having a great game at the end there. Lost his shoe stealing the ball from Paul George, still ends up making the layup. And then the big steal from behind on Mason Plumlee at the end. Malik Monk is the player of the game. I mean, I think he made more big plays in the two overtimes than even De'Aaron Fox did because Fox had just basically had nothing left. Like he left it all on the floor tonight for sure. And you were saying that Malik Monk didn't even look tired in that second overtime, which I agree. It was just unbelievable. But I do think that if I had to select somebody to win the defensive player of the game chain, it would definitely be Fox in this one.
I got to give a shout out to a bunch of people here in the chat. Alsor is here. Art, Ivan, good to see you, Ivan. Sorry you've been sick. Hopefully you're feeling better. I'm also in the same boat. Shout out to Rick. Rick, haven't seen you in a while. Alfie man says Calvin is on cloud 9 right now. Marcus is here. Great game. Light the beam. I see Fred's back in the chat. We beat the LA Lakers reserves. Love it. I absolutely love it. You guys are awesome. Joe Smith. Man, you guys are great. I really enjoy all my Kings fans in here. Brandon is here. Good evening. Great win by the Kings, but their defense gets an F. Yeah, that's okay. I definitely feel you on that, Brandon, but Kings get the win tonight. That's all that really matters in the great scheme of things. But you're right. There is a lot of film to watch on this game to get better at defense. Dirt and Russ is in here in the chat. Shout out to you. And hey, I got to give a shout out to Raiders Nation, baby. He's a baby tonight because his Clippers lost. But hey, I'm a Raiders fan too, so shout out to you. Unfortunately, your team lost, and better luck next Friday. Jeff the lefty says I'm going to celebrate this win getting laid. Shout out to you, Jeff. T is here. Shout out to T. T is on fire. He's fired up right now. Abe says 45 burgers for the 6th man of the year. Light the beam. Man, Dylan is here. Big Bird is here. Brian is here. Charlie is here. Calvin. I don't know if Charlie's feeling okay, or maybe somebody hijacked his account, but Charlie wrote in the chat, I want to say the Kings can go on a run, but Domas has been exposed to many times a team who can go small. Charlie, we won tonight, man. Be positive. Be positive. King G or King Gibby is here. Shout out to you all. Faquan. Shout out to KZ. He didn't do much, but loved his energy. Calvin, are you hearing this about KZ Okpala?
I am hearing it. Will undergo season-ending surgery. Is going to be waived. Unfortunate for him, man. That it really is. He's going to miss out on the playoffs because of this, probably.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be hooking him up with some tickets if he needs it. He was a part of this team. And not that I'm saying the Kings are going to win the championship this year, but if they were, I think he'd still get a ring. We've seen that happen in baseball and many other different sports. Gilbert says, I don't know, the Clippers did look good though, but we looked better. Man, Calvin Christian is here. Put some respect on Fred's name. Love from the UK. And I said, Young Zel is here as well. Sass is here. Man, happy to see you all. Really, really happy to see you all. You guys are incredible. Rick says 87 points for Fox and Monk combined. Absolutely huge performance. Huge performance tonight for both of them. Calvin, I mean, we've seen games like this during the season where the Kings they've controlled the pace of the game. They've made a bunch of shots, but they've never put up numbers like this. What do you think is the reason for that?
This is just one of those games, man. I mean, it's obviously very rare that you have a game where literally every player on the floor is feeling it and just cannot miss. You could go down the line for both teams. I mean, how many guys came up and made big shots, 3-point shots? You know, Nick Batum hit about 87 corner threes in a row. He didn't hit the rim on any of them. Norman Powell was hitting threes. Obviously, Kawhi was making everything, but even for the Kings, Monk was phenomenal. Terrence Davis hit a bunch of really big threes in the fourth quarter. To begin the game, actually, I think the Kings made their first 3 or 4 threes as well. Fox had 2 of them. So everybody was just feeling it tonight. And, you know, I know that everyone is saying that there was zero defense played in this game. Obviously, the defense was not great, but I do think that this game was an example of much better offense than there was defense. There were a ton of shots in this game that were highly contested. I mean, I can think of probably 5 or 6 shots that Kawhi Leonard hit with a hand directly in his face, whether it was a turnaround fadeaway over Keegan Murray or Harrison Barnes, or that crazy three that he threw up basically through a double team that still went in. I mean, guys were just making shots tonight. That was the bottom line for this game. I'm not saying that defense was perfect, but it's not like they were not trying defensively out there. The guys were just hitting incredibly tough shots.
Yeah, not to mention, Calvin, the defense was there at the crucial moments when the Kings needed it. When they went down 13, they got a bunch of stops. At the end of the fourth quarter, they got a stop. At the end of both overtimes, the Kings got a stop. So the defense was not there for the entire game, obviously, when you allow 175 points. But there was spurts where the Kings were able to lock down on defense and get a stop, get a turnover, make things happen. So definitely some positives you could take away from there. I want to give a shout out to Alfie Man for the super chat. Thank you so much, Alfie Man. We appreciate all your support. You really, really help us and help us help this channel. Also, got to give a shout out to Tanveer via Twitter Spaces. Ashton is here, and Dylan is here on stage as well. Calvin, you think we should throw it over to Dylan?
Yes, we definitely need the Clippers' perspective from this game.
Oh, no, this is Kings fan Dylan.
Dylan, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't even look at your name. I just thought it was Clippers fan Dylan. I apologize.
Dylan, what's up? How are you, man?
I'm good. Thank you. I almost don't even feel like I need to talk anymore because what you guys just said, was exactly what I was gonna say, like about the defense. I mean, like I was seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying that, when Adrian, what's his last name, Wojnarowski or whatever, he was talking about the score.
You can call him
Woj.
Woj.
Okay, yeah, just when Woj tweeted about the score. People were saying, why is this game of the year? It's not game of the year. No defense at all. Just, it's like it's basically just like the All-Star game. The defense wasn't atrocious, and just like Calvin said, I'm not saying that we're looking like the best defensive team out there, but I also don't think it was bad. I mean, the reason why they were getting open shots is because we were throwing the double team at Kawhi because he was making every single shot, and then of course, then we're just outnumbered. Then there's always going to be one guy open, when we throw the double at him. So I don't think the defense was necessarily bad. It wasn't the best. I'm not saying I'm not saying that we're number one, but I also think it was just they were knocking down shots. Like we played. There's effort. Our rotations were a little bit slow sometimes. They did have a lot of open corner threes, but I mean, how many corner threes did Batum hit down with a hand in his face? Kawhi step back threes. Well, Keegan Murray was playing some pretty good defense on him too. It was good defense. I think just better offense.
Yeah, I think you're right. As Dave points out here in the chat, there was so many shots with the defender in someone's pocket, and everything was still falling.
Right.
Rotations were very weak, but the double teams were often strong, and the shots were well contested.
Right.
Yeah, most NBA teams, if they were to take 37 completely wide open threes in a game with nobody within 5 feet of them, they still wouldn't shoot 65% from the field. This was an absolute historic offensive performance for both teams.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not just like the Clippers were like we were also were knocking down contested shots. Like that last scramble when Malik tied it up to go into the first overtime. Like he wasn't necessarily open either. It was just like a tough shot. He knocked it down.
That was absolutely incredible, man. Incredible.
And then, like you said too, Barry, like at the end, like we did start like I think the shot to go into double overtime against PG when Davion and Fox double team PG, and then he shot it, like split them on the double team, and then shot it and missed like that. I mean, we played good defense on him too, and at the end, we got it into Norman. I mean, we had Norman Powell and Batum were the ball handlers on the last play. That's perfect. That's who we want. That's just who we want. I mean, better than. I mean, okay, yes, they both had, they both were shooting the ball well tonight, but better than Kawhi or PG, like we forced them to go to Norman that was covered by Fox and Batum like 3 feet behind the line. That's like the best possible way you can ask for a defensive possession to end the game with Kawhi shooting the way he was.
Yeah, incredible. I got to give a shout out to Key Kings here in the chat. Good to see you, Key Kings. And also to Trey. Trey says, Monk, 6th man of the year. Dylan, what are your thoughts on Malik Monk winning the 6th man of the year award?
I would say, as much as I like him, I would say right now, currently, no. Because he did have a pretty rough patch. He started off the season well, then kind of had a rough patch. But the past 2 games, he's looked. I mean, yesterday and today, he's looked really good. So I think if he can continue this, obviously not 45 points a game, but if he can continue like coming off the bench, playing 25 minutes, getting say 16 and 5, I think that's definitely put him in the conversation for sure. I'd say if his season ended right now, no. But if he can continue this the way he is right now, like I think the past 2 games he just comes in and is dishing it out and he's getting his shots. Like I think in December, January, he was shooting like in the 20% from 3, stuff like that. That's not quite gonna get it, but like this, definitely. I mean, I think if we can have like more consistency, I think definitely that he could be a 6th man of the year.
Yeah, well, certainly if he continues to play, even half this good,
even like 18 points and 5 assists,
yeah,
and that's doable. I mean, if he can get 25 minutes and the way our offense is and the way he fits in there and the way he dishes it out, and that's perfect. I mean, 18 and 5 is doable for sure.
absolutely. And the playmaking ability, when we talk about or the point that I've made over the last couple of days about who every team is at this point. It's how can you maximize what your team and your roster does best,
Right.
each individual player and what the team does as well. If Malik Monk is going to be a guy that's able to drive to the basket and make plays for others without having those turnover slumps that we've seen in the past, that unlocks a whole new part of this offense, and
Right.
it makes the bench that much better, right? And if the bench plays at this level with the starting 5 that's been statistically one of the best starting lineups in the NBA all season long, it completely changes the trajectory of where the team goes.
Agreed. And it seems so effortless. I mean, the past 2 games, it seems so effortless. It's not like he's forcing it. Like he's just driving at will, and the shots are going down. Like it just looks so easy for him out there right now.
And that's a very good point. I mean, up until, maybe the last couple weeks of the season or prior to right before and after he got hurt and missed a couple of games, the 3-point shot really hadn't been falling for him the way we've been used to seeing it from him over the past couple of years. So if that is all of a sudden going to change, again, it completely changes, the way Malik Monk affects the game because he is able to get to the basket at will. But if he also has the 3-point shot that people have to respect, I mean, it just completely changes the way the Kings play from a bench standpoint. They don't have to use Davion Mitchell as the primary ball handler a lot. It frees him up for more catch and shoot, which I think is a great fit for him. I mean, he's not at the point where he's going to be dropping 20 points a game anytime soon. But if he's able to knock down a couple of threes because he gets those wide open looks, and play great defense.
8 points a game.
Again, that's nice. Maximizing what he brings to the table.
Right. Even averaging like 8 to 10 points, and he can get Davion. Honestly, he's so quick. He has handles. Like I feel like he can. I mean, he was showing that at the end of last season, but I mean, just watching him, like there's times where he can also. I mean, he's like basically when you get into the rim, he's almost as quick as Fox. I would say, truthfully, like he's so fast. His handles are on point.
Very quick, for sure. Well, Dylan, thank you so much. I know Tanveer has had his hand up for a while, so I do want to get to him.
All right.
Any last words you have for all the Kings fans out there?
Just, I have my moments where I'm doubtful, but after this game, when we get down by 11 points and back in it, then down by 11 points, then 2 minutes left. 2 minutes because I'm in Spain, right? So I was watching the game. It was like 7 o'clock, down by 11 points with 3 minutes to go. I was like, yeah, I might just turn it off, go to bed a little earlier. But I was like, nope, I can't do it. Not this year. I can't do it. And then we go on a 10-0 run in like a minute and 20 seconds, and it's like that's
Game
we're legit.
of the year,
I mean,
man.
I've been more of a hater than most Kings fans. Like most Kings fans are so happy. I'm so passionate about that. I'm more of a hater than most. But I mean, I love them, but I'm just strict with them, and they get me emotional. But this team's legit. This team's legit.
I couldn't have said it better, Dylan. Thank you, man, very
Thank
much.
you. Bye bye.
Appreciate it. Tanveer,
Thank you, Dylan.
shout out.
Yo, what's up, Calvin Berry? How's it going, guys? Appreciate the shirt too. It was nice.
What's up, Tanveer?
What's going on, man? That game, that's the game of the year, man. 2 overtimes, bro. 176 points. That's just insane, man.
Second highest scoring game in NBA history, dude.
Yep.
I don't know what else I can say about it. So tell me what you thought about it.
Hey, man, I can't say much either, bro. I was on my edge of my seat, bro. Shit, man. I'm still hyped as of right now.
Do you have I mean, there's so many moments from this game, right? So many runs, so many great individual plays. Is there anything that stands out more to you towards the end there in the fourth quarter and the overtimes? Just a play or a moment that just won't leave your brain?
Oh, it's probably Malik Monk. That guy just came out of nowhere with 45 piece. He had a heater on today. He was cooking something in LA.
He absolutely was. I mean, this game could propel him for the rest of the season. It couldn't have come at a better time for this team going into the stretch run of the season to have a player that they really, really need to play well in order for them to be at their best come up with this biggest game of the year, right?
Yeah. Actually, the same thing with Star Fox. Not swiping the Fox, Star Fox. He had a game of
That's right, Star Fox.
40 points. That's a good W. Got the chain. That if you saw the press conference, that was hilarious also.
Yeah, I do need to go back and rewatch that because I've definitely seen a bunch of people in the chat already talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Not gonna lie, De'Aaron was looking a little tired there towards the end of the game, but he was passing it to Malik Monk. Malik had the energy, and then Fox with a couple daggers there late was absolutely huge.
For sure, 100%, bro.
Tanveer, what do you think of the Light the Beam shirt?
Oh, it's amazing, bro. I love it. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna be wearing that on playoff games now.
Hell yeah, man.
You're gonna sleep in that shirt tonight, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I probably won't be able to sleep tonight at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an exciting game. A lot of adrenaline going. Man, I got to rewatch that game because it was absolutely see the highlights, incredible.
Bro. I wasn't watching the game at all. I was watching the play-by-play.
Oh, dude, you got to rewatch.
You didn't
that
watch
whole
the game?
No, man, I was at work. I was just looking at the play-by-play the whole time.
Oh man, you're in for a treat. I hope you have it taped or something at home.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna watch the highlights.
Yeah, you definitely need to watch that. As Matthew says here in the chat, what a way to say hello to the league after the trade deadline. Yep. This is a good team, right? Everyone was tripping. A lot of Kings fans were like, why didn't we make a move? We should have picked up Mason Plumlee. Well, guess what? Mason Plumlee just got work tonight on the LA Clippers. So no Plumlee, no problem for the Sacramento Kings.
No problem, bro. This is the Kings, bro. We're no longer the Kangs. It's the Kings in the building. NBA better watch out.
Oh, man. Dude, Dylan just joined us. That was just up here, just joined us via the chat. He brought up something I totally forgot about, and that was that that charge on Metu that should have totally been a charge. I thought that was an absolutely ridiculous call. Tanveer, I know you didn't see it, so you're gonna have to rewatch the game. But Calvin, dude, was that not a charge?
I mean, I would have called that a charge, especially in real time too. A charge or a block, when you slow it down and watch it 1,000 different times, from every angle, you can make the counter argument for why it should have been a block or why it should have been a charge. But if you're reffing that game in real time, I don't know how you couldn't have made that an offensive foul right away.
I heard Tony Brothers was
100%.
refing that game though. Afterwards.
Oh man,
So
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
know
think
that
that's
guy
probably the
is
reason why.
absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Well, hey Tanveer, we wanna get to what to look forward to on Sunday's game. But you got any last words for the royal family out there?
Hit that like button. What can I say? I love you guys. Let's get on this. Continue
Man,
on winning. Continue on this win streak.
appreciate you as always, man. You're awesome,
Love you
Tanveer.
all. For real.
Hopefully we'll see you on Sunday.
For real. Yes. You will definitely see me on Sunday.
Sounds good, man. Have a
Have
good
a good
night.
Have a good
night.
Thank
night,
you,
bro.
Tanveer.
All right, Calvin. I mean, as excited as everybody is about the Kings win tonight, guess what? We got another game, dude. We got 23 games left until the NBA playoffs. But the Kings play the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday. We have two games in a row against the Thunder. We play them on Sunday. We play them on Tuesday. And then we play the same Clippers team on Friday. So, Calvin, give me your first thoughts for Sunday's game in Oklahoma City against the Thunder.
Well, no rest for the weary, right? Because again, Oklahoma City is a tough, young, long, athletic team. They play with no abandonment for fear of anybody. You could see that the game they played against the Lakers, and where in which LeBron James broke the scoring record, right? That moment wasn't too big for them. SGA was still going point for point with LeBron for most of that game. They're young and they're hungry, just like the Kings are. So, and they are a very long and athletic team that gets in the passing lanes, causes a lot of turnovers. So the Kings are going to be. They have to put this game behind them. As phenomenal as it was, as high as they must be feeling after winning this game, there's still a lot more important basketball left to be played, and they haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. So no rest for the weary here.
You are right. And to everybody that's watching in, we should be back in the studio on Sunday so you can see all of our beautiful faces. Calvin, one other thing that I just want to throw out there, the Kings are 4-0 in overtime games this year. That is absolutely incredible, especially for a team that they say has not been clutch, a team that they say has no playoff experience, a team that they say is not ready for playoff basketball. But Calvin, when it matters, this Kings team is incredibly good. 4-0 in overtime games this year, which is absolutely it's ridiculous, as DeMarcus Cousins would say.
It is ridiculous. And the fourth quarter has been probably their best quarter for the entire season as well. They've got the most clutch player in the NBA. All of these things, even though they don't have any playoffs experience, those are all things that are huge weapons for you in the postseason.
Yeah, and I saw some defensive numbers. The Kings are uh, almost one of the top defensive teams in the fourth quarter, which is pretty incredible to think about. That combined with De'Aaron Fox being an incredible fourth quarter player, this Kings team wins a lot of close games, which is like mind blowing for a team that doesn't have a lot of playoff experience or meaningful game experience. This Kings team loses games when they're down by 20 plus, but when this game is close, they get the stops they need, they make the shots that they need, and they win basketball games. Calvin, give me your keys to the game on Sunday.
So Oklahoma City, as I mentioned, is a team that poses a lot of problems for the Kings, but the Kings have a lot of advantages going into this game as well. They've only met one time this season. Number one key to this game is turnovers and taking care of the ball. Oklahoma City is number one in the NBA in forced turnovers. They average over 16 forced turnovers per game. So being able to manage those turnovers is going to be a huge, huge part of winning this game. You can't give a team like Oklahoma City easy baskets, just like the Kings, who feed off of those transition buckets. That absolutely is how the Thunder get rolling. So, number two, Dylan hit it on the money here earlier in the chat. I think he said the Thunder don't have anybody to stop Sabonis. Sabonis has a huge advantage against this team. He recorded a triple-double against them in the first meeting this year. They don't really have anyone on Oklahoma City who can defend him. So look for the Kings to get him going early, especially coming off a frustrating game here, or a frustrating finish to the game here in LA. And then number 3 is crash the offensive glass. The Thunder are the worst defensive rebounding team in the NBA. They give up a league high 12 offensive rebounds per game. The Kings actually got 13 offensive rebounds in that first meeting, and that is something that they've been doing well over the past couple of games. So look for them to keep the pressure on the offensive glass in this game on Sunday.
Yep, I'm definitely excited for Sunday's game. How could you not be after watching this game? I see a bunch of people here in the chat saying they're going to rewatch the whole game. Bouncers with me. I'm definitely going to rewatch it as well. What an incredible night of Kings basketball. Calvin, can you give me a prediction for Sunday's game?
Well, I think the first meeting was a 118-113 win for Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Thunder will keep this game relatively close, especially playing at home. But I'm going to predict another Kings win. The Kings offense is just absolutely unstoppable right now. So I'm going to go Kings 123, Oklahoma City 115.
That's what I like to hear. All right, I think that pretty much wraps us up for the night. Thank you guys so much for joining in via Twitter Spaces. Thank you so much for joining in via YouTube. Please don't forget to smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button. We will be live after Sunday's game on YouTube. Calvin, any last words for the royal family out?
Light the fucking beam.
The Kings won, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Kings won, yeah. The Sacramento Kings, oh, yeah, the Kings won, yeah. Fox is so fast. Sabonis is so strong, yeah. Coach Mike is so smart, yeah. They are the playoff bound, yeah.
Light the beam! Woo! Yes, sir. Let's go, man.